You are live.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the October 2022 meeting of the Public Art and Cultural Commission. I am Chair Katie Cornell. The Public Art and Cultural Commission, formerly known as the Public Art Board, was established by Council in 2000. This 9-member commission acts as an advisory board on art in public space. We are responsible for promoting public art in the city of Asheville, overseeing the city's public art initiatives, and ensuring that our public art is properly maintained. All staff and committee members are participating virtually through the Virtual Engagement Hub. You can access this through the front page of the city's website or on the city's YouTube page. You can also participate in public comment by using the phone number that you find on our website or emailing us through Public Art and Cultural Commission at publicinput.com. So I'm going to start by doing a roll call vote of our members. Committee members, as I call your name, say a quick hello. Shirley Whitesides.
Hello, everyone.
Allie McGee.
Hello.
Pete Perez.
Hello.
And we know that Andrew Fletcher, Joanna Haggerty, Reggie Tidwell, and Marcia Almodovar are not with us right now. So we'll move on. So moving on to our agenda for today under administrative items. The first item on our agenda is to go over the September minutes, but we will do that at our next meeting. So we'll skip that for right now. The next piece is that we do have an opening currently for a PAC member, and that is a posted vacancy for this month. The deadline for applications is October 31st at 5 p.m. We talked about this a bit in our last meeting. We really want to encourage specifically somebody with experience in doing public art, like a public artist, to fill this seat for that unique perspective. So I've reached out to people I know. If you know people that you'd like to recommend, please do. This is the second time this position has been posted since we did not really receive much of a response in the last round. So it's really important. This is our last shot. Get people to apply for this round. The next piece on our agenda is there is a group of students from UNC Chapel Hill coming to visit, and they would like to speak to us during our December meeting. So I'm going to let Steph talk a little bit about this.
Sure. So these folks, and I think there's maybe 8 of them in total, 5 to 8 of them in total that will be here. They're spending several days in the area. They have already outreached to several organizations like the River Arts District Artists and some other not-for-profits and individual artists to learn all they can about how folks in this area are working on public art projects. And they would, and they're going to be volunteering on a project with one of those organizations, but they would like to learn from you all. They are going to be here, I think for 3 days. I think it was the 11th through the 15th, but your meeting is actually on the 15th, but they're leaving at 1 p.m. that day. Yes. Yes, I already tried to make this part of your meeting. However, so basically they would like to hear from you all why public art is important, why art in public spaces is important, what that's like in Asheville, challenges, wins, all of that. And so there's a couple things we could do. One is if everybody wanted to do it, we could you could have a special meeting in December, and as long as you gave a great deal of notice to people for transparency purposes, and as long as we streamed it and all of that kind of stuff, then that could serve as your meeting, and you guys could basically act as a panel for a good bit of it. The second thing would be to keep your meeting on the same day for consistency's sake. And then maybe several of you would be willing to take some time out of your schedule on one of the prior days or earlier in the day on the 15th, maybe that morning, to have some conversations with these students. So just looking for, feedback and interest levels here. Katie and I are looking for that.
So just to put a pin in that for a second, and next we're talking about year-end planning. And I just want to make you all aware that our annual report is due on January 21st. And we had discussed potentially making our January meeting a retreat to help plan for that annual report. But that wouldn't be until the 19th. I'm wondering if we should plan something in December, and maybe we could do this discussion with the students and like a retreat discussion at the same time.
The date is again the 15th at 1-ish.
No, that's just when they're leaving.
Oh,
They're
that's what
leaving on the 15th.
Oh, okay. All right.
Our meeting's at 4 that afternoon. They leave town at 1 o'clock that day. So it would have to be earlier in the morning. But I'm just wondering if we ought to consider trying to do something that week that encompasses some planning, so we can prepare for that annual report, because we have to submit our budgetary requests as well as our goals for the upcoming year in that plan. And we really do need to discuss that. So I don't know what your thoughts are. Steph, I know you have a lot coming up with the revisioning. Is it possible to consider doing a retreat that week?
Yes, we'll be
Okay.
having our major engagement December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. You're going to be hearing about that soon. And then, if you all wanted to, meet the morning, do a 3-hour meeting in the morning of December 15th, I think that that's entirely possible. You could kick out your annual report and any year-end planning and do this panel discussion with students. Maybe even invite other folks as to be a part of that. So it's just really about availability of the members. And like I said, and just making sure that we do want to, if it's a special meeting, we just want to make sure it's advertised earlier.
And if we do that stuff, it would probably be best as in person. How does that work? As if it's in person, it's not live streamed, right?
Yeah,
And the
actually,
retreat normally isn't.
we can record it.
Okay.
Like I can just set up, I've done this before, like I can just set up a Google Meet and aim the camera right at you and you'll all be recorded. And we would just take, more minutes, like more fleshed out minutes. But yeah, this is as a reminder, the conversation you all had about going to remote or in-person meetings. The reason that you would have an in-person meeting, since you voted to stay remote for your regular meetings, is to have a special meeting.
I do think it would be very important to be in person to talk about planning. It's kind of hard to do that.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So for Pete and Shirley and Allie and Katie, because you haven't replied on this too, is that date available for you all in the morning?
It is
Do
for
you
me.
want staff to start pursuing that and send out an email and take a poll?
It's available for me too.
It works for me.
Me too.
Me too. What date is that? When that's not on a Wednesday.
December 15th. So it would be our normal meeting day, but in the morning
Okay.
instead of the afternoon.
Okay, let me check my calendar. I have standing appointment. Sorry about that. I can get my that's fine. That's on a Thursday. I'll be available.
So Steph, are you thinking like 10 to 1?
Sure, it's up to you all. Completely up to you all. Staff, I think, can support it.
We'll
So
say
what
since-
we can do, we can send a doodle poll out that's maybe a 3-hour block starting at maybe 9 a.m. So whether that's 9 to 12, 10 to 1, I know, but just seeing who can make it or whatever, 11 to 2, and then just see where where the sweet spot
what
is.
falls. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta say, if you're gonna have it at 9, there needs to be lots of coffee.
Got
Okay.
it.
That
Kate,
sounds
Katie
good.
is putting in her preference for the
Yes.
10 to 1 slot.
I vote for 10 to 1. My eyes don't start open till 10.
Yeah, can we still have lots of coffee at the 10? That sounds
Yeah, we can have lots of coffee anyway. And then, another thing you'll need to discuss is you can have this, the easiest low-hanging fruit is we could schedule it in the first floor conference room of City Hall. There's also a conference room on College Street that is very large that the county has that they have always talked to us about using. So those are spaces that are open to the public at any time. Other good public spaces that are open and, include library or community center buildings. So we'll just have a conversation about that. Just needs to be
Okay.
publicly accessible.
That sounds great. The other piece for you all, I emailed you about both the Juneteenth evaluation panel and the PAC Square Visioning panel. There's been a request for a PAC member to serve on each of these. The Juneteenth evaluation panel will meet on November 16th. Both Pete and I have a meeting conflict that day. Neither one of us could do it. I'm looking for somebody to do that one. And then I did not hear any response for the PAC Visioning panel either. So I have said that I would do that as the representative for PAC if nobody else is willing. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you're interested, let me know so we can get those both filled.
What time is the Juneteenth meeting that day?
It is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 16th. And lunch will be provided. Okay, so we'll move on to our updates section unless anybody has anything else they'd like to say about end of year planning or those dates. Okay, updates around the table by members. Okay, so if you have upcoming events, things related to public art in the city of Asheville that you'd like to share, please share now. This is your time. I'll kick it off. The Asheville Area Arts Council did a series of candidate forum events. The last one was with city candidates, and we did directly ask them about their support for public art programs in the city of Asheville, mostly asking them to support planning for public art, maintenance of public art, and staffing for public art. And so that video recording is now on the Arts Council's website, and I'll be sharing a link with you all. But I encourage you to just in particular watch that question about public art. It was a good discussion. Hopefully something happens in the next year. We will definitely be making some budgetary requests. We also have our State of the Arts brunch coming up. The Arts Council will be talking about all of the reporting that we're doing, the different studies that we're doing, and the state of the arts in our community, as well as we have some big announcements we're going to be making, and that's on November 2nd. So I encourage you all to join us for that event as well. Okay, somebody else's turn.
Joseph Pearson just put up an exhibit here at Delta House of African Americans who were inventors. And we're going to use that to teach kids about African American history and art. And we're also in the process of decorating a big rock in our yard. He's already put keels on it. And so we're going to use African symbols and geometric shapes. And we're going to do something with the sign outside so people know that we have art and jazz in the community, in the house, and people welcome to come in. And that's part of
awesome.
an event that we're working on, and we hope we'll get some extra help. And we'll have a culminating event in June and invite the community in. But this is a way to bring people in, and like I used to tell my kids, in all cultures, you have some traditions or symbols or whatever that are similar to each other. So we have Latino students, so it won't just be African American, because when you look at it, depends on how you put the shapes, design them. So that's event that's going to be ongoing to brighten up South Frenchboro and Asheville Middle School and the housing authority and the homeless in the same block.
That's awesome. Yeah, keep us updated about that event.
Okay, thank you.
Ellie, do you want to share about the parklet?
Well, I was going to share about a different thing, but yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
parklet did. I actually wasn't there. I was tromping around in the woods all weekend, but the basket parklet and installation is officially up and was celebrated last weekend at Center for Craft. And then this weekend, actually, the folks behind the Indigenous Walls Project, who I don't know if they were part of the parklet or not, I can't remember, but they're hosting an intertribal market downtown at 46 Aston Street. I think that's downtown, right? I'm embarrassed. I don't know. But 8 to 3, I think I'm definitely going to be there. There's going to be art and, Indigenous like fry bread pop up, and some of the same stuff that was at Center for Craft, I think will be, and there are 20 native vendors apparently. So that's happening on Saturday.
It's a 3-day event. It actually kicks off tomorrow.
Look, you know more
And-
about it than I do. You tell us, Katie.
So the Indigenous Walls Project is doing a 3-day event. It kicks off tomorrow with a video screening at the Wortham
That's right. Mhm.
about Indigenous murals. And so I think that would be really interesting to see. And then there's 10 tribes, 10 representatives from 10 different tribes in town painting this mural on Collier Street and then the market. And so lots of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to hit that up. And then not necessarily public art, but Creative Mornings, Asheville. It's finally Asheville's pick for the theme of Creative Mornings. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's next.
Ethos.
Ethos. There you go. It's 10/28. So that's really exciting too.
And Mike and Rachel are coming back. The
Yes, I know. I saw that.
co-hosts. They're gonna.
Very excited. So I am definitely going to be jumping on my ticket first thing Monday when it drops. Thanks for filling all that in, Katie.
It's literally my job. So- Pete, did you have anything you wanted to share?
No, I don't have anything, Katie.
Okay. So we'll move back on to Pack Square Visioning Project.
Great. If you just give me a second here, I'm gonna bring up the presentation. Nope, that's not how you do it. I've been doing this for 3 years and here I am and I'm sharing. Yay. Thanks everybody for holding on for just a second. So just for our For the folks who might be looking at this in posterity, I know everybody on that is able to make it today knows exactly what this project about. But Pack Square Plaza visioning, the purpose of this is to document the community's vision for a more equitable, accessible, and exclusive Pack Square Plaza, including the site where the Vance Monument was previously located, and physical and mental connections to and from the Block neighborhood just next door. Our Art in the Heart program produces public art that can unite, heal, and strengthen the community. It sparks conversations and ideas how to make Pack Square Plaza a central gathering place and hub of activity for the region, a place that reflects Asheville's diverse community. These are all temporary art projects that are help informing all of the themes and goals that we're going to come out with for the Pack Square Plaza Visioning Project. Wanted to let you know, we're going to be talking about community engagement a little bit with the project, and then we'll talk about how things have been going with Art in the Heart. That this is the public portal to provide initial input on the Pack Square vision is up. We've received 238 participants to date. So comb through some of this, check out what people are saying. In a positive way. We're having a lot of good dialogue back and forth about what makes a great public space. I thought it was interesting. I just looked really quick and said, how many of the folks that responded to our question, what physical features, programs, recreational or commercial activities would make you come to Pack Square more often? About 23% of those used art in their answer at some point. So it's how they used art in the answer that might be really interesting to you. We are halfway through putting together a community advisory committee. That advisory committee is going to meet on October 31st. That's a Monday and Halloween at noon virtually. So Katie Cornell, as she mentioned a little bit earlier here, she is on that committee. We also have 8 other, I think I mentioned this, 8 other confirmed members and from different boards and commissions, and this group is going to actually be a working group or subcommittee of the Downtown Commission, as the Downtown Commission has the closest kind of purview or scope of work when it comes to looking comprehensively at downtown and how downtown is a beacon for the region. So they're going to meet maybe 5 times, probably spend about 10 to 15 hours between now and April 30th reviewing the work of the consultants and city and county staff and helping us with certain outreach activities. So what are those? In October and November, we're focusing on general outreach and awareness building about the project. Carly made us a really nice postcard. I've been taking those around, including we were at the East End Valley Street Neighborhood Association last week. So we're going to neighborhood groups, community events, grocery stores, sticking them up there, and just trying to help people understand that things are happening and to save the date on December 1st and 2nd and 3rd. So on December 1st and 2nd, we talked about this a little bit last time, but we have gotten more refined. So I want to go over this in detail. We are going to have, I think it's 8. I think we're looking at 8 right now, 8 public meetings in a variety of locations and at a variety of times. They're going to be themed. Almost think of it like you're going to a conference on Pack Square, and these are the different topics that we're looking at. So people can go to more than one of these, or if they're just interested in, art and history, they're just going to go to that specific topical meeting. I'm going to talk to you about your participation in that in a second. So on December 3rd, we're having the general public session, and we're actually having 3 of them. They're 1-hour general sessions, and we're going to repeat them at 10, 11, and 1 o'clock. And this is how it's going to look. We just confirmed today, I guess I feel comfortable saying this out in the world, that we're going to start those general meetings. People will be able to come into Posana, who's been, it's a wonderful restaurant on the square, who supports us having these diverse, broad conversations about great public spaces. They're going to be the location for where people drop in, they check in, they get a beverage, maybe a little snack, and they see an overview presentation from the consultants and are asked a few questions. And then they're going to go out and do a site tour for a half hour. So might look more like 45 minutes. So the big picture questions are happening inside, and then there might be an engagement exercise. We're going to have some entertainment on the square so people can hang out before and after. And then the site tour will have about 5 interactive starts where people are going to drill down on specific topics. One of those topics is going to be art and history. So during that engagement, we're really looking at tying all of this back into the 5 areas of recommendations that we said from the very beginning we were going to focus on. So that's the top issues or ideas associated with the repurposing of the former Vance Monument area, how we can advance equity and inclusion both in the short and long term in this area, some guidance or ideas, get some concepts together on capital improvements, construction projects to actually physically change Pack Square. And those recommendations have to be sound as far as, can we afford this? Looking at the budget and being realistic about our community's appetite for changes in the square. Recommendations on public-private partnerships, knowing that right now the city is the sole provider of permits, and you go through them for any policy that has to do with the programming in the area, the maintenance of the area, any improvements to the area. And is that is that something we want to look at going forward? And then ideas where we can better connect Pack Square Plaza and the block, especially through the corridor on Market Street. So we'll be looking at Eagle Street as well, but the corner of the plaza right there, you look right down and it's the gateway into the block. So after all this engagement, we're going to get a what we heard document in December. So that would be by the end of December, beginning of the new year. And the community is going to be able to, first it'll be the community advisory committee and staff, but then the community will be able to say, like, does this sound like what we're talking about? Or are there major themes and ideas that have been missed, or things that have gotten in here that are really off the rails? And then we're going to have a great design charrette or design work session for the entire community at 9 a.m. on Friday, January 13th. So we'll start the new year off with that. All of that will be synthesized, refined, poured over, ideas will be tweaked and tested, and then we come out with a draft vision document in March. All that said, I'm just going to go back here and say, we really could use your help. You said on your agenda that in particular on December 3rd, I'm not sure of the exact shifts, but we would really like the Public Art and Cultural Commission to use their expertise and flex their power of educating the public around the benefits of public art and some, general principles that we might want to be responding to, since you guys have spent a lot of this year touring the area and thinking about our monuments, memorials, markers, and public art, and even thinking about places of memory. And we want you to be able to share some of that with the community. So we're looking for you to potentially volunteer and be at one of those stops where we can do some art and history interaction with the public. I also would be very interested in having any of you help and volunteer at any of the sessions on December 1st and 2nd, but especially the ones that might tie in more to public art. So not just the art and history session, but things like inclusive economic development. There are conversations that we have had, obviously, about what, inclusive economic development opportunities include opportunities to recognize that arts and the creative sector are an important piece of our economic development. So we'll talk more about that offline, and especially since a bunch of your crew are not here today, I'll just send an email out about that participation. But I really want to thank you for that. And I'm going to hand it over now to Carly. Carly, you just tell me, you just say slide and I'll change the slide when you're ready.
Okay. I was actually going to ask if I could share my screen instead, just because.
Yeah. Oh,
I
because you
have
want to be
some
interactive?
things.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop sharing. And here comes Carly.
Can I ask a quick question while that is turning over? When will you have the times for the first and the second?
We are hoping that in about a week from now, we would have
Okay.
the times of those.
Just want to be sure to get that on my calendar as soon as possible.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the more, it's a great excuse for to just block off your entire calendar and protect it for a while.
Okay. Are you all able to see?
Yes.
Okay. So as far as Art in the Heart goes, we have been very busy leading up to September and the launch of the program. So between the launch of the program, the beginning of September, and this past weekend, October 15th, we have had 5 artworks projects that have either been installed and are ongoing or have been completed. So Leah and the Rabbit, a puppet show, kicked things off, and that was on September 17th. They did 2 showings of Leah and the Rabbit at 11 and at noon, and it was beautiful weather. We had to cancel the original scheduled date of the weekends before that due to rainy, nasty weather, but we traded it for the next weekend and got gorgeous weather, so it all worked out. Faces of Change was the next art installation, and that was a photo exhibit and a video short by Youth Artist Empowered. And that was the photo exhibit was installed adjacent to the Biltmore building on September 17th. And then they had a film screening on the evening of September 18th in that same general area or location. Room in the Sky is the one that is ongoing. So that sculpture is still out and available for you to view in front of the base of the monument. And this one has had some ups and downs. There's been some vandalism that we've had to deal with. But I think overall, we've gotten really positive responses from the community. And it's especially fun to go out and take a look at it on a windy day. So that'll be up until October 30th. If you haven't had a chance to go and see it, you definitely should. House of Hues was an installation by Kat Naz that was installed on September 18th and was in place through the 30th and then removed. This one had a bunch of solar lights that shone up onto a disco ball, had like kind of a cool funky bench that she built, and was inviting people to come up and experience the space and all the colors and just take a moment in this public space for rest and enjoyment. And then October 15th, this past weekend, was Our Careful Tending. And this was a roaming poetry reading by artists Tiffany Nairn, Jen Murphy, and Lydia Nicole. And they had 2 sort of weaving performances. They started at the stage, actually in the lower Pack Square Park area, and then did like a loop around the entire Pack Square Park, pausing at the stage at the start, and then also pausing up at the Vance Monument itself. And they had a chanted poem that Tiffany wrote, along with these really beautiful ancient paper masks that they created. The second performance that they did happened after the sun went down, and they had these beautiful lanterns that you can see in the photo here. And then we are getting ready very soon to release the schedule for the November-December artists. You can see there's the 3 hearts here at the bottom. Homesick will be a sculpture that will include evenings of projections, kind of audio-visual projections that will happen. Also, we are going to have a natural sculpture installed in locations 1 and 2. So it's adjacent to the Biltmore building and in the Birch Lawn by Larry King. And the Vance Tangrams obelisk by Edwin Salas Acosta. This is more of an interactive activity experience, inviting the public to come in and build things together and explore different shapes of a monument. So very excited for those upcoming installations and activities and performances. So we'll keep you all updated when we release the schedule here shortly. So happening now is Room in the Sky. That'll be up until October 30th. So if you visit the Art in the Heart project page or webpage, final photos that we have received thus far for completed projects have been added to all of the project profiles. And we have also added links asking for viewer feedback. And so we're encouraging people, whether they're, viewing the final photos online or whether they were in the plaza experiencing this artwork, to give us feedback. And we now have a direct link or QR code that can go to the specific Art in the Heart tab that's on the Public Engagement Hub currently. We haven't had as much feedback and engagement as we would like for Art in the Heart, specifically on the art pieces. So I think this next round, we're going to really try to target feedback and get specific responses and answers, thoughts and feelings from the artwork itself. So we're working hard to make that available online and kind of connect the dots with our promotion outside of the plaza as well. And so I'm not going to read through all of these right now, but I do want your all's feedback on these engagement questions that we are asking about Art in the Heart. There's a few about the program as a whole in general, and then there are questions that are trying to tie the arts and the stories and the projects to things that could happen in the plaza, or new experiences or programming or design, that ideas that are sparked from these art pieces that could be taken into Pack Square Plaza. So that will be, I guess that's some homework for you all. I would love for you to go and look at the Art in the Heart project page, and also go to the Art in the Heart engagement tab and look through the questions and let me know if you think we're on target, if we're asking the right questions, and also any feedback you all have about how we can do better with our engagement would be much appreciated for the art program. Okay, and so now it's virtual tour time. So I was going to just take you quickly to the page, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so this is the project page itself. I've added some information up here at the top about things that are happening now, including a link to the engagement hub here at the top. And then I haven't, for the performance that just happened this past weekend, I will share a little video teaser that our documentarian shared with us just a couple days ago, but I haven't added it to the website yet. But for each of the artists that has an installed or completed project, I've added these final photos here. And Manny Emmanuel Figaro has been doing our photography and videography for this, and he's really captured some beautiful moments through the program that I think really get to the essence of what each artist was trying to accomplish. This was the House of Hues, really shown at night. That it was one that you definitely needed to experience after the sun went down. And so for each of these artists with the final images or photos included, there's a link where you can go and give feedback. This is Faces of Change. So this was install day. Unfortunately, we don't have any captured of the film short screening that happened the next evening. I'm hoping to reach out to her, though, and see if they captured some that we could include here. And then this was the puppet show, Leah and the Rabbit. And Manuel put together an awesome little video that I'll play too.
Are you hearing it, Carly? Because I'm not.
I'm also not hearing it through your computer.
Oh, bummer. Okay. I don't know why it's not coming through.
Well, it's going to make everybody go to
Yeah.
the website and do it.
That was a proper teaser.
It
Look like the volume ones and turned on.
I do have, I mean, I can hear it bright and clear on my end. So I just assumed that you all would be able to hear it through.
No,
Well, go check out the video, please.
absolutely.
And then I'll just quickly show you. So if you click on the either the let us know link here or the tell us what you think, it'll take you to the public engagement tab for Art in the Heart. And so this is where all the questions are. So you all should go and look through these questions, answer, you know, I'm sure, hopefully you all have had a chance to see some of the artwork or catch one of the performances in the plaza. So I'd love to get your feedback on the artwork and also just on the format that we've laid out for the engagement as well. And I was going to show you the clip for Tiffany Nairn's Our Careful Tending, but I have a feeling you're not going to be able to hear it. But this one's more of a visual one and it's really short, so I'll just play it. There you go. So yeah, more to come on that one. We'll get the final photos and the final video that we can add up to the website here soon. So those are the Art in the Heart updates. Does anybody have any questions or responses or thoughts?
Just a big thank you for all your work on this project, Carly. You're really doing a wonderful job on it.
Yep,
Thanks.
absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been a whirlwind, but it's been fun.
And I bet it was fun seeing the masks and the lights at night. I hate that I missed that.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
I'm thinking we need to do a disco in Pack Square Park in the dark. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun to bring all these projects back that we're really focused on after the sun goes down. Get them all there at one time. Be this like after hours experience and see a program like that.
John, that we want to do a disco in Pack Square.
Keep you down.
As long as you guys produce it, we'll permit it.
This sounds like a good job for Leaf. Anybody have any questions about that before we move on? Right. So the last piece that we have under updates is an FYI on the City of Durham Cultural Roadmap planning process.
So I put this on the agenda. I really wanted everybody to take a look at this. I was thinking about how last year we had a pretty robust discussion about moving away from a public art master plan update and more about, working with the Arts Council and other organizations on a county level to think regionally and to really think about what, and I know the asset mapping, maybe you can speak to this in a second, Katie. The asset mapping project is a go. I think that's from Thrive, which there's that event tonight. So two things. One, read what they're doing. It is cool. It is something that obviously people got behind because this is going to be really impactful for the region. And then two, I'm just going to point out that one of the people they have on their steering committee or that are co-chairing this is Zena Howard. And Zena Howard works for Perkins and Will, and she's someone that we actually tried to recruit here for the Pack Square Plaza project to apply at least. And she is, how do I say this? She is not the original architect, but she's the architect of record of the African American Heritage Museum in the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. So she's a person that took that on after the passing of the original architect and had a lot to do with that project. And she is an expert on culture and how culture gets transformed or integrated or expressed in place, and someone that I would be interested, if we talk more about educational efforts next year that the PAC might want to do, she might be an interesting person to bring here, maybe for a Building Our City event or something like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there as food for thought from your staff.
Is that series still going?
Building Our City is still going, and the next one is November 2nd. It's upcoming. So it's been revived by the Downtown Association with a lot of organizing support from Urban 3, one of our great private planning and urban design firms here in Asheville. So they're bringing in Bernice Rattle, I think her name is. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I know who she is because I grew up right outside Buffalo. And so I have an interest in what she's doing. She helped she worked with Buffalo, which was an organization that sought to really revitalize areas of Buffalo, New York. And she is a fan/expert of incremental development, small scale adaptive reuse that allows communities to take charge of how their spaces are really defined and developed.
That's awesome.
So that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Buffalo is a very different economic situation than our city in Asheville, but we can still learn lessons for sure. If you're interested, please just web search Building Our City, Asheville.
I can't wait to look at this Durham roadmap now. Check it out. Just as Steph mentioned, I was part of the Sustainable Tourism focus group that was spearheaded by Thrive Asheville. It was 30 community leaders that really looked at sustainable tourism over an 8-month period. And out of it came 3 initiatives, and one of them was a cultural asset inventory for Buncombe County, natural and cultural asset inventory for Buncombe County. So this group, there's a subcommittee that formed out of that that is spearheaded by myself as the cultural side, as the director of the Arts Council. And then on the natural resources side, it's Dawn Chavez from Asheville Greenworks. So we are working right now to build a list of assets and then look at their usage and what kind of stories we're telling. And then there'll be a community engagement piece. And the plan is for there to be some kind of report out by May of next year. So that's what that's about. So that puts us at public comment. Do we have any public comment, Dana?
We have no public comment, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So other announcements, agenda setting for our next meeting in November. What day does our meeting fall on in November?
Let's see, third Thursday.
The 17th. So it's the week before Thanksgiving. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we were
Good call.
following.
Very good call. Yes, I'm keeping a running list on here of things that we know are important so we don't lose them. So if anybody has anything that they wanted to add, please share with Katie, Carly, or myself. The things that I have on there right now, we talked last month about Burton Street. Community members are supporting youth engagement and learning and doing some public art projects. And they're interested in getting a presentation from several of you in November. So I just wanted to say we have not heard back on the dates. We still have as a slated, what's coming up next project, our call for artists in for River Arts District public art. There's maybe 3, potentially 4 projects there, depending on how you group them. And then we need to have a discussion about the upcoming fiscal year public art projects list and how that money will be spent. maybe one of those things we might be able to accomplish at your retreat, your special meeting retreat.
Well, and you just jogged my memory. There is an event at Burton Street Community Center tomorrow, hosted by the city of Asheville on Hispanic heritage, right? It's Hispanic
I saw-
Heritage Celebration this Friday from 6 to 9:30.
I got to see Shirley on this past Saturday at the Burton Street Agricultural Fair, and Delta House Jazz Band played. I did not get to see that and stay, but I saw a couple other musical acts that were great. How was Delta House Jazz Band, Shirley?
Oh, they were fantastic. And I finally got a formal picture of them. And I don't know if they were on TV or not, but Clifford Cotton was telling about the Burton Street Heritage Festival. And I know they were filming him playing the saxophone. And I got a chance to meet Aaron Mills. He used to play with, not the Commodores, I can't think of the name of the group. But anyway, he performed. And I have a collage here with Aaron in it, and I took a picture with him so I could show the kids. So it's all about trying to teach the kids. And we think we found a couple more jazz band members from the festival.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Well, Shirley, staff is interested in speaking with you about potentially having this youth and adult collaborative perform on Saturday, December 3rd in Pack Square. If you want to, I'll send you an email, but
Okay. I will be out of town, but Sheila,
Sheila can help.
well,
Okay.
they will love that. And,
Okay.
Although I'll be out of town, the ball will keep rolling. Okay. And thanks for thinking about us.
Of course, no problem. Thanks for all you do.
Well, Steph said, if you have anything you want to add to next month's agenda, to let us know. And we usually meet the week before our meeting to plan the agenda. So anytime between now and then. And I believe that is the end of our agenda for today. So I'll now adjourn the meeting unless there are any objections. Seeing no objections, the meeting is now adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.